Hello again, back to more or less regular programming. It's Javi Padilla and welcome to Family and Life Update. Okay, now we're here in Houston, Texas. So it's part still of our Missionary Families of Christ mission trip. We went to the MFC USA National Conference in Maryland. Before that, we spent some time in New York, and after the Maryland conference, we went around DC, and that was our last video at the Supreme Court. And now we're in Houston, our last stop before going back to Manila in a few days. So see you soon, Manila. I'm excited to go back home, see my kids, lose some of this weight that I've gained over the past 2 weeks here. It's so easy to gain weight and so hard to lose it. But we're back again to talk about certain issues that we see in the Philippines, especially, and around the world. We see it through the lens of faith, family, and life. So just a couple of issues that we want to discuss. The first one is the incoming Congress is about to start. In fact, I think on Monday is the State of the Nation address, or next week, not sure what day anymore. And then after that, they're going to start talking about the different bills. And they've already started filing the bills. And we've seen that bills on the usual have been filed. Divorce, abortion, same-sex marriage, even the marijuana use. And it's really all these liberal ideologies and all these things. The death bills are coming in full force, even on the first day of filing. Even the most popular, like Robin Padilla, the most popular senator, who was number one, these are all his bills. No relation, and I'm very disappointed that we share the same last name, and he is on that side of the fence, the death side, the death bill side of the fence. And it's really going to be a tough battle ahead. Though, of course, there are still some pro-life allies in both the Senate and the House, and hopefully we can really tap them and really just campaign to educate more, because as we've seen here in the US, where I am, as we've seen so with the many families here, that divorce, abortion, and all these things, marijuana use, they just lead to more and more trouble. They just lead to the disintegration of society and the family especially. And when you destroy the family, then so many things just fall down like dominoes. And maybe they don't see it because there's so much influence from all these funders, from these influential NGOs and political organizations, all these governments, that the UN even, that they say that you have to have this, you have to do this. But we have been seeing the effect over the many decades that it's actually happening already here in the US, and we've seen the negative effect. And we don't want that for our country, and we just definitely want to keep fighting back and fighting for the stability and what the Filipino family stands for. It's not old-fashioned. People say that's old-fashioned, talking about the Filipino family as very whole, united, loving bonds, very passing on good values from generation to generation. That's not old-fashioned. That's actually what is needed around the world, because we see the disintegration of families and the fighting of parents and children, of spouses, and it just leads to more and more, it's getting really windy, it leads to more and more trouble. And we've seen it all around the world, and we don't want that for our country. We need to keep fighting back. Buhay is not in Congress, and we need to fight more. We need to convince more. Maybe that's one of the reasons. We need to convince more congressmen and senators about this side, the right side of this battle, because we need to make sure that the Filipino family, that the Philippines does not fall to these death bills and what these liberal countries, liberal governments want to happen to us. And you just need to open your eyes and see what's happening around the world. Do you want that to happen to the Philippines as well? We don't, and we need to keep fighting. So, divorce bill, there's a lot of, it's the usual media push, all these statistics about abortion, about divorce, about unhappy marriages, and you can see it's really a media push so that when the Congress starts deliberating, they will say, hey, look, it's all over the media. It's their usual way of doing things, and we just need to be more vigilant, and we need to fight back more. Also with facts, because we know that we don't want to be like the liberal Western countries that, you know, people are just jumping from one relationship to the other, and all the children are affected. You can see the effect, the very negative effect it has on children, especially abortion. Such a negative effect on the family, even on the mother, and just definitely the society. I mean, when you are okay with killing a helpless person in the womb, then you will be okay with almost anything. And that's just a very sad thing if that were to happen in the Philippines as well. Another thing that we've seen is that the dictionary, Merriam-Webster, has changed or has added to the definition of female. They say here that having a gender identity that is opposite of male. So these gender, what do you call them, gender warriors are even attacking the dictionary. I'm sure you watched What is a Woman, you watch the Supreme Court Justice who says she's not a biologist. Then you have people fighting for women's rights, but they don't want to define what a woman is. So even these people are so confused about themselves. They're stuck in a loop, and they don't want to explain what a woman is, but they're fighting for women's rights, and then they're fighting for, they're saying anybody can be a woman, but then when you have an opinion about abortion, they say you can't have an opinion because you're a man. So it's really just one lie after the other, just in a loop, just really them confusing themselves but not knowing that they're confused. And it's actually, when you take a step back and you look at it, it's actually quite funny how they try to over-explain everything just to explain themselves. And sometimes it's just them over-explaining, and to the point that it actually becomes quite funny how they're explaining things. But of course, like this, if you speak out, then you are attacked, you are a bigot, you are racist, you are all these things. You get banned, you get shamed, you get cancelled. But you know, not everybody has that point of view that they are promoting in the West and in media and social media. There's so many more who are just not saying anything because of that, because the liberal media is so strong and so powerful that if you say something, you get cancelled and you get backlash. But there's so many out there, here in the US especially, that have the same point of view as us, as me, and as you who are watching. So the conservatives, we just need to stand strong together, work from the sidelines, work from behind the scenes, and then we can get things done. Just like we've done for the past decades after Roe v. Wade was passed. It took this long to overturn it, and there are so many things that we can still do. If you don't want to be in the front lines, like Matt Walsh and Daily Wire and Jay Aruga and all these things, if you don't want to be in the front lines, you can help from the sidelines and from backstage, because there's still so many things that we can do together. So reach out to us, and maybe we can really start something that can really change things for the good. It's already started. We just need to keep the ball rolling, and we just need to keep the momentum going. Don't be afraid. And they will try to keep attacking you and pushing you so that you can back down, and then they'll gain the upper hand again. So we just need to keep going. All right? And there's so many things in the Philippines happening. Honestly, I haven't been really keeping up with things because we keep traveling and keep serving and keep going from place to place. But the new government is in full swing. We have to keep our eyes on these bills in Congress, the different executive orders, different DepEd memos, even the graduation ceremonies where people are asked to, there are some schools that say wear whatever you like. There are some schools that say you have to stick to your true gender. And you can see in social media, everyone is fighting everyone. So these Western influences are coming into us, and they're coming in strong. And we need to also defend the Philippines, defend the family, because if we don't do it, then who will? All right. So I'm excited to go back to help with the fight and to really move this cause forward, because we need to see the world through the lens of faith, family, and life. And we need to keep doing something, keep being noisy, keep being active, and really keep the fight going, because when we are called to do it, we have to answer and we have to do it. So thank you for joining me from the US, from Texas. Next episode will probably be back in Manila, and thank you for journeying with me through this mission for the past 2 weeks. And remember, buhay mo mahalaga. God bless. See you soon.